technologies. I'm happy that we have again selected 5 companies who are taking place online today. So also a big welcome to all online participants, but also to the few on-site participants. Nice to have you all here. In a minute, as I said, we will see 5 robotics companies that have been selected by our jury members, which are among the top CVCs and VCs in Europe. So thank you for this. Thanks for selecting the companies. Before we start, a very quick introduction about the rules. So we will see 5 pitches. Each pitch is 5 minutes long, followed by a 3-minute of Q&A. If you want to ask a question and you are a Zoom participant, we ask you to use the raise hand function in Zoom, and my colleagues will tell me that you have a question. If you have an on-site question, just raise your hand. That's pretty simple, and I give the floor to you. For the Zoom participants, it's very important to please rename yourself to name and company so that we can see who is asking a question. Last but not least, as I said, we have a lot of online participants. For this reason, we are going to organize an additional meeting opportunity via Zoom on Monday next week. So we will have a full day of one-to-one meeting opportunities between companies and investors. My colleague Marcia will share after each pitch a form in the Zoom chat where the jury members can book additional meetings, and we then put you in contact with our companies. If you are watching us via broadcast, you can see an email address at the end of the session. So if you're interested in meeting a company, please send us an email and we are happy to connect and set up a meeting. With that said, here's the overview of our investor jury. We have Armilar, we have Brega, we have the High Tech Gründer 4, we have M Ventures, we have Crowberry Capital, we have the Xperia Venture Fund, we have Early Bird, and we have NGP Capital. Thanks again for joining. It's a pleasure to have you here and online. And with that said, I want to hand it over to our first company from the Netherlands, which is AV, and I hand it over to Patrick. Patrick, please go ahead.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I'll ask Romain to start the slideshow. Are you able to see the slides? Perfect. Alrighty. So, due to climate change and a growing population, Europe is under pressure. The last years, we've seen a tremendous increase in wildfires, floods, and other natural disasters. Millions of square kilometers of forest have been destroyed in the south part of Europe. And unfortunately, way too many lives have been lost. The emergency services have never been under a higher pressure. I see that the slides don't change automatically. Let's see, there we go. The emergency services have never been under higher pressure, and that is why we wanted to support them with AV. Unfortunately, trying to support these services by is very challenging because usually the access to incidents and disasters. So we thought the way out, because the sky offers way more potential than we currently use it for. Because it is we are able to fly faster, have access quicker, more reliable, and more cost affordable. So at AV, we wanted to make impact. But we didn't find the right means because using the sky with drones on one hand of the spectrum doesn't work. Drones have a very limited flight time, usually around 20 minutes, limited range of 1 or 2 kilometers. They require manual piloting. But on the other hand of the spectrum, we have airplanes and helicopters, but they are very expensive. They require a lot of infrastructure. They're not instantly deployable, and they're very polluting. So we wanted something that is long range, quickly deployable, cost affordable, and zero emission. So that's why we started AV. Now, if this video can be started, please. I'd like to show you what we're building. So this is AV, an aircraft that is capable of supporting emergency services by taking off vertically and then transitioning into a horizontal flight, being able to have coverage around 100 kilometers. It can be used for first response operations, the brigade, or support medical institutes like hospitals and labs to transport medical cargo. The aircraft flies autonomous, so it doesn't require manual piloting, making it way more affordable than regular drones or airplanes. Of course, it's electric, so emissions. And after the flight, the aircraft lands again in its docking station, recharge. So the aircraft is ready on standby for the next flight to make a positive impact. So, by using these aircraft in their stations, we can build drone response networks. And we can do that for medical deliveries, for first response operations like search and rescue and fire department support. Together with large customers like the Scandinavian Falk or the global helicopter operator CHC, we are currently rolling out these national covering drone response networks. The last couple of years, with a team of around 45 brilliant minds and engineers, we have been developing this technology. We've been building around 30 aircraft, but together with our customers, we've estimated that we need around 500 operational aircraft in 2025. So, to be able to scale up to that production number, we are currently in our Series A round. We are looking for a sum of 10 million euros that we want to use for scaling up, market expansion in Western Europe, and new R&D for new aircraft. So, if you are willing to join us in our mission to unlock the sky and make positive impact, please fly with us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for this presentation on AV. I ask our jury members now if you have any questions to Patrick and AV. Yeah, we have an on-site question, Martin.
Can I use that? Okay, so my first question will be connected with the hardware. So what is the cost of the hardware for now, and what is the cost of one trip, and how you calculate that? And also, do you add for this maintenance and the battery, and how it works? And do you have the manufacturer on your site, and do you have any patents? Sorry for so many questions, but you know, my fund do investment in drones, so that's why, you know, it's interesting stuff for me. Thank you.
Thanks for the question, and that's indeed a lot of questions. I'll try to answer them all. So the cost of an aircraft, dependent on the options, lies in between 87,000 euros and 100,000 euros, especially whether we integrate certain thermal cameras for heat imagery, for example. And then we have the docking station that goes for a price of around 30,000 euros. So on average, a node, as we call it, the combination of an aircraft and its docking station, is around 130,000 euros. Then a part of the sales, we also have a business model where we have an ongoing subscription with customers for software licenses, mission control software use, maintenance, and other services. And for some customers, we also deliver operational services. As I mentioned in the pitch, the aircraft is self-flying, so it's autonomous, so it doesn't require a pilot with joysticks, but we can offer flight operators that monitor the flight and can help with the logistics. As AV, we are a company that focuses so not just only on the manufacturing part, but also on more parts of the chain, helping us get a better margin, but also enabling a better feedback loop in what the end user and the customers ultimately want and our development process. So that's a bit where we position. Did I answer then all your questions, or was there something else that I'm missing?
There is a follow-up question, I think, Marci.
Yeah, so answer is okay. So maybe two more questions. Sorry for that.
Yeah, very quick. We're running out of time.
Okay,
But no
sorry.
worries.
Sorry. So what is your base revenue model now, and where you want to be after the 10 million euro round?
Yeah, so currently we are making revenue. We have done that the last couple of years with various projects, proof of concepts with the large international customers. And with the new regulation that started this year, we have the permission to fly long-range missions in the Netherlands and in Greater Europe. Meaning that we are ready to make this operational. That's also what we heard back from our customers. So with these customers, we've set up a business model that combines the sale of an aircraft, a maintenance plan, and a subscription plan. We have all the technology in-house, and it's also IP protected. So that way we are also able to certify that knowledge. And we also support our clients and operators by getting the right permissions as operators to be able to fly in Europe.
Okay. Thank you very much, Patrick, for answering the question. I see we have actually more online questions, but we're running out of time. But the good thing is we offer the possibility to schedule additional meetings on Monday. So if any of our Zoom jury members wants to meet Patrick and Avi, please follow the form my colleague Marcia is now sharing in the chat, and then you will be able to schedule additional meetings, and we are happy to put you in contact with the company. With that said, we move forward, and I want to hand it over to Jose from Kumukora for the next presentation. Jose, please go ahead.
Yes, okay, thank you. All right, let me go through. I would like to present how we see the next generation of mobile networks. I cannot move the slides. I cannot move the slide forward. Can you move to the next, please? Right. Okay, so the problem that we want to drive is that how to build a really scalable private mobile network for industrial usage. So the thing is that the industrial IoTs, they have unpredictable traffic and the system is not scalable. So basically what we are targeting in our system is to deliver a private network that is shaping the traffic based on the demands. So that means that the operator, or let's say the owner of the factory, can have its own private mobile network that is adapted to the needs of their services and applications. Next. So we have implemented and we have designed completely from scratch a unique 4G and 5G network with its standard. So that means that we can integrate the radio system from different vendors, devices from different vendors, and then they have already fully tested in several trials and in several POCs. And these have been delivered mainly for customers that want to have a completely isolated network infrastructure, which is not dependent on internet access, mainly for confidentiality and privacy of sensitive data. Next. So the system that we deliver has been able to provide more than 40 gigabit capacity with 50% less of resources compared to other systems in the market. And moreover, the optimal delivery of the content, if we want to handle data from sensors, cameras, devices in the factory, robots, etc., we have been measuring up to 50% in savings in terms of capacity. And then we deliver a system that can be deployed inside, or let's say on the premise, or it can be delivered from the cloud. Next. If we compare the system to whatever is available, there are two factors. One is companies that are providing virtualized versions of the system, or companies that are providing hardware-based system. So the main difference is that virtualized systems, they work in those scenarios that the access is on cloud. But most of these factories, they want to have a completely closed system, mainly for security and reliability. And in that sense, we have designed the component specifically for those cases. Next. So the total addressable market is around 40 billion. The serviceable market is 4 billions. And out of that, we are targeting 200 millions with our system. Next. The model that we are having is that we have our own software that then integrates hardware components like a radio or devices from different vendors, depending on the customer. And then with that, we are going directly to some customers, directly to big customers, mainly to get some references. But then we are also working currently with system integrators in order to expand our coverage in different parts of the market. The revenue model is cloud-based if the system wants to run on public cloud, or annual subscription and then pay as you go. So those systems that are closed on the factory, then they select this kind of subscription. The volumes, if it's a small company, is between 50 and 150. But if it's a big company, it's 1 to 1.5 millions. Next. And then the expansion is mainly we are targeting Europe, and then with integrators going out across APAC and rest of Europe. Next. So what we are asking is 2.2 millions in order to move to TRL 6 and 8, and then about 1.5 extra million to move into TRL 9. I mean, fully commercial, high availability system. The expected total revenue is about 52 million, and the total net income will be around 40 million. Next. Yes, and this is our past. So we have been going already with several companies. And next. And we are a team of 12 people, experts with a large experience and innovation in 5G networks. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jose, for the presentation. I'm asking our jury again, do we have any questions? Okay, from NGP Capital, Christian Noske.
Thanks for the great presentation. Just curious if you can talk a little bit about timing of the market. Most industrial companies still using Wi-Fi, and it's a lot of investment went into that. So based on your customers and based on your market insight, I'm curious how you think that will develop. It seems still a little bit slow at this point.
Yeah, that's a good question, because one of the reasons why the customers we are having are demanding this 5G network is mainly reliability and congestion. They are suffering already some problems from the Wi-Fi. So to give you an example, there was a customer where one of the robots connected through Wi-Fi went a bit out of coverage, I mean momentarily, and then the whole chain was stopped. And they calculated that the cost of having this robot out of coverage for, I think that was less than 1 hour, the cost was around 5 to 6 kilo euros. So imagine if this kind of issues happen more often, then the cost of the Wi-Fi is quite large. So that's why they are considering to move into more reliable mobile infrastructure, because they want, mainly in this kind of industrial or high availability type of network. If it's consumer data or data that doesn't require, extreme availability, then the Wi-Fi is sufficient.
Okay, thank you. We have another question from Joao Diaz.
Yes, Jose, thank you. Just one additional question still on the topic raised of the last question is, you have very different use cases in the shop floor, like you mentioned. So it's not clear to me what is exactly the pain point that you are addressing. Is it some massive IoT, low bandwidth, but probably that can be addressed with typical radio access networks nearby, or is it the high bandwidth, low IoT, mostly addressable through the AGVs? What exactly has in this initial use case that you have been addressing, what has been the critical one?
Yeah, I think that the main problem is that there's no one system that fits all those scenarios. So that's one of the main advantages of these private networks, that we have included what is called slicing. Slicing means that you separate or you allocate some resources to a certain group of devices. In those slices, then you can, because you own the network, that's the main difference compared to public networks. You own the network, or the factory owns the network, and then with the slicing, they can say that, okay, this group of IoT devices, they are going to generate a large amount of traffic. Then we separate these devices in a different slice where they have their own resources, and the system of the network has been configured only to support those devices. And then they see that there are telemetry devices. I mean, we have had some cases of devices that require very, very low latency in the order of milliseconds. So then we cannot mix the traffic on those devices with the massive IoT. So what we do is that we create a separate slice of the network, and then we register those telemetry devices into this different slice where we can guarantee this low latency. That's the main thing, that the system needs to be flexible to be adapted to the different type of devices. There's a huge diversity of devices with completely different requirements. And one factor is that according to the standards in the industrial factories, there is the concept of security zone, which means that there are parts of the network that are extremely restricted to some of the devices. So in order to support that, then we create another slice for those devices that will be accessing those security zones.
So Jose, we need to stop here. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
we are way over time. Thanks a lot for answering the questions. If any of the investors wants to meet Jose and Kumukore, we will now have again the opportunity to schedule meetings if you follow the link in the Zoom chat, and then we are happy to connect you with Jose and his company. Thank you very much again, and we move forward to a company from Italy, to Springa. Lorenzo, I see your setup. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lorenzo Frangi. I'm the CEO of Springa, and our mission is to bring the digital fabrication to every workshop and construction site. Before being an entrepreneur, I studied and worked as an industrial designer, but since I'm not so good in handcrafting, I looked for help on the market of automated tools who could allow me and help me to create human-scale projects. And I found two main categories of products. On one side, the tools for hobbyists, which are very affordable in terms of price, but their work area it's very, very small, as wide as an A4 paper sheet. So I cannot create, for example, a chair or a stool. On the other hand, there are the professional tools, which are perfect for mass manufacturing, for example, furniture, but they are extremely bulky, very expensive, and so not affordable, for example, for a person like me. To solve this problem, we founded Springa and we begin developing Goliath CNC, which is our first product, which is smaller than a desktop tool, but allows to work for a small to a very large work area. I have a very quick video to show you the robot in action. So Goliath, it's a portable robot that, as you can see, you can place directly on the surface to work. It moves with these wheels on the surface, and it can cut a different variety of materials as wood, plastics, and soft metals, allowing customers to create human-scale projects where they want. Our goal is to give more power to craftsmen, makers, and small professionals, enhancing the possibility to create and have new market and job opportunities thanks to an easier access to this kind of technologies, to this kind of digital fabrication technologies, let's say. Regarding the competitors, the main difference is the combination of the autonomy and the portability of our tool. In fact, compared to the industrial machines and the more fixed ones, our tool is completely portable. It's 15 kilograms, and it's completely autonomous. So you don't have to have particular capacity as you have to do with when you work with power tools. Our revenues comes from the direct sale of the product. The whole system starts as 3,000 euros, actually taxes, included the software today and all the accessories necessary to work with the machine. We are working to improve more revenue streams, for example, through extended warranty program or to particular software development available under subscription. Software features, sorry, not development. We have two channels of sales, the direct one through our website, and we are, from about a year, we are establishing partnerships with dealers in the DIY and woodworking market, both in Europe and in the USA. Our traction, we raised $1 million on Kickstarters a few years ago, useful to fulfill the development and industrialization. We expect a revenue of 1 million for 2021, and we have today a little less than 500 units delivered to the customers. We got many awards regarding, in particular, the industrial design and the product design of the product. Our vision regarding the technology is to build a family and to make portable and flexible also industrial technology. So today we begin with the CNC milling technology, but we got very good feedbacks about also different markets and different technologies which could take advantage of the portability of these tools. And lastly, in a short term, so in a, let's say, 4 years development, we begin to work to bring Goliath to a professional level, so to improve the performances and to create new products which could tackle the professional woodworking market, where the estimate market value of woodworking tools is 37 billion. And to reach this goal, we are raising today 1 million round to support the activity of manufacturing, R&D, commercial and marketing development, and of course, to grow the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lorenzo. Great presentation, perfect timing. So I'm asking the jury again, do we have any questions? Okay, we wait for it. Marcin, you have one? Yeah, on-site question.
So what is the best client for you and what is the margin on the sales for now, and maybe what kind of plans do you have after this round and after the R&D which you told us?
We have different kind of customers. Mostly are B2C customers or one-man companies. So professionals who can't afford the big machines, and both for the price and for the dimension. So artisan and craftsmen and these kind of people. Regarding the margin, we have around, let's say, between the 60 to the 70% of margin on the sales price. And excuse me, but I don't remember the last question.
I asked about the margin now, and what kind of plans do you have about the margin after the round? Because you told us about some kind of R&D which you want to do.
Yeah.
So also one more question, if I can, to this, because you told us it's mostly B2C. So what kind of scenarios people doing with this device now?
Mainly furniture. But for example, there are different applications. For example, another category of clients, it's education. for example, vocational schools in the woodworking market. Boat building, all the applications where the possibility to have a portable tool that you can bring on the site, it's a game changer.
Okay, thank you very much. Just asking Technic, do we have more questions? Okay, we don't have any more questions, then thank you very much, Lorenzo. If anyone has a question or wants a meeting with Lorenzo and Springer, please follow the link in the chat, complete the form, and we are happy to connect. In case you're not available on Monday, that's not an issue. We're happy to connect you also outside of the event. So just follow the link and we are happy to put you in contact with the company. And then we move from Italy to Germany, and I want to welcome Tobias from Toposense.
Yes, hello everyone. So let me see if this clicking of the slide is working. Not that easy. Okay, maybe I think you can also click the slide, so I will tell you if it's about to happen. So yeah, my name is Tobias. I'm co-founder and CEO of Toposense. I'm happy to present to you. So Toposense builds 3D ultrasonic sensors. So we invented more or less the bat sensor that can understand the environment like bats, and we enable safer autonomous technologies with that, safer autonomous vehicles. Yeah, please to the next slide. So yeah, we are detecting the undetectable. Yeah? So our short-range ultrasonic 3D sensors have the capabilities that they can detect objects which all other sensors like camera and LiDAR sensors are not able to detect. And that enables us to meet the demand in the AGV, in the industrial autonomous robot industry, because it's rapidly growing and safety is a key point there. And the same also counts for the bigger counterparts for autonomous cars, and there in the park we enable unique underbody and close range detection, and that is one key safety feature that will be needed for all autonomous parking systems in the future. Next slide, please. So because why are these interesting markets? So obviously robotics and autonomous vehicle markets are growing rapidly, and we see both as relevant target markets for us. We are starting with the industrial robotics, specifically AGV market, and then in the medium long term moving into the passenger vehicle market. Next slide, please. And why is this important? Why do you need the right kind of sensors also for short range sensing, while many other sensors look at long range, but short range is a key thing to cover, and this is what the market understands more and more. So one example is in the industrial AGV space, forklift forks are a huge problem if you have mixed operations with normal forklifts and AGVs. So a lot of crashes are happening there, causing huge damages in the factories, really keeping them from being deployed in a quicker manner. And obviously you have many crashes also in slow speed parking situations, so over 500 deaths and 660,000 injuries in parking in the US alone per year. That shows how critical it is to cover the short range distance around the vehicles. Next slide, please. So this is what Toposense is solving. Yeah, with our robotic safety system, 3D ultrasonic sensor, we are capable of having superior 3D collision avoidance for AGVs. We enable better outdoor collision avoidance capabilities and enable very good short range sensing capabilities for autonomous cars. And we do that with our sensing solution because we don't build sensors only. We have a perception software layer, then specific algorithms and firmware which enable this kind of data, and also a lot of hardware and design know-how. And we just released our Echo 1 DK to the market, which is fully certified and able to have first retrofit applications. And we have fully integrated first tests with customers like Jungheinrich and other big players in the AGV market. Next slide, please. So why is our technology unique and better than what you else see in the market? We just have the best 3D collision avoidance performance and at the best price to value ratio. So 3D ultrasonic sensors enable a super wide field of view and no blind zone, which is key for the short range sensing. It's very robust to environmental conditions such as different lighting conditions where camera systems fail. And we deliver precise 3D data and can really detect objects that other systems cannot detect, such as forklift forks, such as the bat can see smallest insects while flying. This is what our technology is capable of doing. Next slide, please. So our business model has the three main components. So we build the hardware with the functionality, but then we also offer the application software packages. So our sensors are being sold for roughly 700 to 800 euros per system, with a software part of around 200 euros in that. And with that, we still have a margin of over 80%. So in the industrial segment, obviously, lower prices account for the autonomous car market, but that's a bit further in the future. So next, please. We conducted projects and sold our evaluation systems already to a big amount of customers worldwide. In total, over the past years, we have over 1 million euros in revenues. And right now we're getting ready for the ramp up in the robotics space during next year. We're currently doing pilots and POCs, and next year we are expecting the first mass market deployments with customers like Jungheinrich, for example. Next slide, please. All of this is done with around 30 people right now. Very engineering driven, but we also have experts like our CTO, former CTO of Siemens, Harry Strasser, on board, who is supporting as an executive chairman, and also a former board member of the automotive chip supplier Elmos. And you can see that already several investors joined the company. They see the big potential in the autonomous vehicle market with our technology. Next slide, please. We, as said, we're ramping up in robotics right now. We have 4 LOIs right now to launch during next year. The tests are ongoing. Very big names also buying our systems right now. So the revenue is now starting to pick up. We're moving into the market right now, and the medium to long-term game then in 2024-25 also moving into automotive. Next slide. And to realize this, we are raising a pre-series A round right now of 3 million euros for executing our market penetration in robotics with our lead customers, but also starting to ramp up the automotive team to start this development. Obviously also investing in further R&D. We raised 2.8 million in safe notes up to now and received 2.5 million European grant funding of the Horizon 2020 program. And are in the middle of raising. So happy to have follow-on conversations if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tobias, for the presentation. Do we have any questions to Tobias and Toposense? Okay, Helga, please go ahead.
Still muted. Helga, you're still muted.
Hi, I'm Helga from Cobra Capital, and thank you for a great presentation. I love your product. Being the only female on the panel is probably a cliche that I could use it a lot. But I was also just wondering, you didn't mention whether it was missed it. Is it patentable, or have you started the patent process, or how are you protecting your IP?
There are 11 patents, 3 of them already granted in 6 different families. Yes, there's a big IP stack as well, which we are obviously extending further.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, do we have more questions? Okay, Christian, NGP Capital.
Yes, thanks for the great presentation, Tobias. Just curious on the hardware software reference here that you mentioned a couple times. I'm curious if you can also deploy your software in hybrid systems where camera, lidar, and ultrasonic is already used, or if you're just really focused on sonic. Just thinking about the technologies that are already in use with forklifts and other AGVs.
Yeah, it's a very good question. So I think there are 2 ways to answer this. On the one hand side, it's our system being combined with the other systems which already exist in the market. So adding on, for example, the 2D safety lidars which are installed. We already have the capabilities to fuse together with camera data, for example. So yeah, I could show you some videos in another discussion. So that is already working. So we have a good amount of understanding how to integrate other sensor technologies into our software stack. But what also is key, we are the only company worldwide to have developed 3D ultrasonic sensing, and this just brings very unique advantages. But obviously, over time, we want to enrich this unique capability with the benefits of also other technologies, because sensor fusion is key to reach highest levels of safety. That is also not to question.
Okay, thank you very much, Tobias. Time is over. If any of you wants to follow up with Tobias and Toposense, you have the opportunity to book a meeting. Just follow the link in the chat, or send me an email at the end of the session. And then we come to our last company, and we stay in Germany. And I want to hand it over to Rodja from Zauberzeug.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, I'm Rodja Trappe and founder and CEO of Zauberzeug. In our main business, we do advanced mobile robotics development, anything from metal to software. But today, I want to talk to you about our spin-off, the Learning Loop. It's a web platform to minimize human effort for AI-based computer vision. AI needs data, and computer vision AI are trained with a lot of examples. These must be labeled by humans. This horse-stable cleaning robot, for example, uses external cameras to navigate. Humans need to draw small boxes around the objects which the AI should detect then. This easily takes more than 2 years of work, just drawing boxes on these huge amounts of images. We have a trick which reduces the effort to about 60 days. By only labeling a small set of relevant images in each step, we can iteratively improve the AI. In the diagram, the red cycle marks the time-consuming labeling process. The learning loop asks the user to only annotate about 100 images. Then it trains a new model and lets it run on the unlabeled images of the business case. The results are used to select 100 new images where the AI is most uncertain. This way, humans only need to work on the images which are really improving the AI. It's 150 times more efficient to do it that way. Our clients most like the holistic solution of the learning loop. It's a collaborative, no-code web platform. This means businesses can focus on the use case. No AI expertise is required. And yes, AI means big competition. But most of the large players focus on the quality of data. The more the better. And who can blame them? They earn on the data centers, and they have a lot of manpower to pull it off. Tesla, for example, has 1,000 people labeling every day. But as I showed you, when focusing on the right data, you can greatly reduce the overall effort. We combine this with an easy-to-use interface for the whole process. Bringing these two aspects together is really novel, and it's our market advantage. But now we need to enter the international market very quickly. Competition is not sleeping. Our software as a service is clearly in the computer vision market, and that's a huge market, of course. And AI is the new electricity, but most people are not electricians. So we provide an intuitive end-to-end platform, which is very easy to operate, and it feels like it's so simple, like a washing machine. As you can see, we have two revenue streams. One for the startups and SMEs, which we will reach through online marketing, where the average license will be about 2,000 euros per month. Large companies, on the other hand, want to have everything installed on premises. And we best reach them to direct sales. So we approach them directly, show them what we have, and we already have some customers here which are really interested. And the break-even is expected in 2 years. And afterwards, it's going up, as you can see. Our team has a strong technical background. We focus on great usability and the reduction of manual processes. I also want to highlight our two advisors. Professor Beck for media design and usability, and Dr. Dickscheid, who is co-leading the neuroinformatics platform of the Human Brain Project. We are right now planning the spin-off from our main company. This will provide the focus and clarity of the goals. And of course, salaries and marketing will be the biggest factors when scaling up this new company. Therefore, we ask for 2.2 million euros to finance the next 2 years. You could expect a 600% return of invest after 5 years. Let's do it. I would be happy to talk to you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this presentation, Rodja. Do we have any questions from our jury members? Okay, from Early Bird, André, please go ahead.
Thanks for the great presentation. One quick question. So as the market, the data annotation market is rather crowded already, and I understand your human in the loop approach, focus on data quality. How do you think about the next stage? Do you also perceive that as, let's say, an intermediate step to have this human in the loop approach? So how do you think about self-supervised, multimodal GPT-3-like solutions?
Yes. We like these new approaches very much. So what we are right now doing is integrating more and more automatisms into the annotation process, like all the other competition is doing. But when you select the right data, so our strong advantage is that we know which data to annotate. And then you can easily fall off the cliff by thinking, oh, now you have a very autonomous system which can label any data, but then you spoil your whole process. And when you want to be efficient, somebody needs to review the data. So this will be humans, or you need to have a really large data set to train it on a big data set. And we can also reduce the carbon costs and be ecologically friendly by reducing the overall annotation data.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Do we have more questions? Okay, we give it a second. Okay, we don't have more questions for you, Rodja. Thank you very much for the presentation. Very well done. And we are actually at the end of our session. So if you want to book a meeting with Rodja, with Zauberzeug, or any of our other companies, please do so by clicking on the form that Marcia is sharing in the chat. Or you can now see my email address. So if you are an online participant broadcasting, you can send an email to me if you want to meet any of the companies, either from today or even yesterday. Please send an email to me. We are happy to connect you with the companies and set up a meeting on Monday or on any other day that fits for you. We also have an overview of our upcoming EIC events, and we have another e-pitching in December coming up on mobility and transportation. You can sign up via Zoom, via the EIC community website, so we are happy to meet you there as well. And if you are an investor and want to be part of one of our events, just email me and I put you on the invitation list for our upcoming events. Now I want to thank everybody for participating in this session, all the companies, but also the jury members for being on site, for being online, for selecting the companies. We are very much looking forward to support the companies in follow-up activities. So if you need everything, just let us know. And we continue in about 10 to 15 minutes with our fourth session of the EIC Summit with software as a service for consumers. And we are happy to meet you back there. Thank you very much.